Hey guys, Matt Science here, and today we're back with Anime vs. Reality. Bailey's not with me here on my side of the camera. Yeah, you're hearing. Well, you're hearing voice, along with Croakia.
Spirit.
You want to say hello, Croakia?
Hello.
And today we're going to be continuing on with Fruits Basket with Season 2. Also, the prelude episodes are actually finally starting to come out. They started to come out around the time we finished Season 1, in fact.
You know how many episodes there are?
I have not looked up how many episodes there are. Wait, I just realized I don't have my notes. My notes are on my laptop, and my laptop's all the way over there. Far out. This is not a good start to today, just being busy with other things. Also, tomorrow, there's a character's birthday on tomorrow.
Whose?
Takumi Fujiwara from Initial D. His birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Well, although when this comes out, it'll be last Friday. So, yeah. Anyways,
how old is he?
I don't really care about age, I just go by the birth date.
No, I mean, how old is the character from when the series started? Because what year was it? 95?
Year 1995, I don't know. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's not get bogged down in trying to figure out Takumi's birthday.
Alright, go get the notebook.
No, I have the notebook. I would have to go and get my laptop when we start on the actual notes.
Okay.
Because the notes are on Google Docs. Anyways, okay, I've got 3 characters here that I'm going to do the roll call for first. So,
I'm just going to send you the notes on a Discord message.
No, because I've got to keep it on this screen. That's the issue. I have the laptop to have as a separate thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
It's all fine. Okay, so I have 3 characters. First up, I'll start with Azuzu Soma, who was introduced at the end of Season 1. Her nickname is Ren. Or Rin, I mean. Rin. That's what it was. But Azuzu Soma is voiced by Aki Toyosaki. And the other voice roles this person has is the Hand Demon from Demon Slayer. I don't really remember the Hand Demon. I feel like I've seen the character. Yun Yun from Konosuba Season 2. Momo Belia Devil Duke and Peke from To Love Ru. Belia would know those characters.
Peke from To Love Ru, really?
Yeah. And
I love Peke.
Asmodeus from Yumi Neko When They Cry. I just included that one because it's similar to Higurashi the full title of Higurashi is When They Cry. And there are people out there that say that Yumi Neko and Higurashi are in the same universe.
Really?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm just going off what I've read. And that's what I've read. Okay, the next person I have on here is Ren Soma, who we don't really meet her until like later in Season 2, maybe even Season 3, but we do get a name in Season 2. She's voiced by Ai Orikaza, and the other role she's had is Chizuru Kirishiki from Shiki, which is the vampire anime that Bailey and I have covered. And also Misery from Soul Eater Not. I don't remember the character like who Misery
neither.
was. Huh? What was that, Bailey?
Me neither. I don't remember the character.
But we have covered Solely the Knot.
We haven't.
We have. And I know that we have because I spent 2 weeks covering, like, doing notes for 65 episodes, and I fucking hated it. That was the peak torture of this whole podcast. 65 episodes in 2 weeks. Let's just move on from that, though. And the last person I have here that I'll mention today is Kurano Soma, who's voiced by Yuichiro Yumehara, and he voices the weather report from JoJo Part 6. That is actually I don't know if I have that right in my notes. Doesn't sound right reading it. Might be weather reporter. Kuroi Seshi from One Punch Man. I don't know that character that well. Do you, Bailey?
I think I do. I have a character in mind, and just kind of place it. What was the name?
Kuroi. Like Kuroi.
I think I do. I'll check one.
And
Let me look this up. I think I know who it is.
And the last one I have is Goro from Darling in the Franxx XX. Which I just included because Darling in the Franxx XX is known for being a bit of a controversial anime in some of its shots.
Oh yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to go and get my laptop, bring it over and log in and all that stuff. If you guys want to start on the first episode, we're going to try and get through to episode 4.
Alright.
So I'm going to go and quickly grab my laptop. I'll put myself on mute so you don't have to hear me yelling at the top of my lungs if I ever have any problems. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All
Got
right.
the notes here.
Modoko continues to admire Yuki from a distance and describes everything she loves about him. She also describes her dislike for Toru showing up out of nowhere in Yuki's life.
And basically just she's jealous of Toru because unlike her, Toru can actually talk to Yuki. You know, about stammering or just getting really embarrassed and running away. Then we get third-person narration from Toru revising what happened in season 1, and that it's been almost a year since season 1, episode 1. And Toru wants to understand the true nature of the Soma Zodiac curse because Kyo, she thought she understood it, and then Kyo. Sorry, what?
I'm back. It wasn't going to take that long.
Well, we're not that far, and we're just up to the part where Toru wants to understand the true nature of the Soma Zodiac curse, because up until Kyo turned into his monster form, she thought like it was just each of the Soma members would turn into an animal of the Zodiac, but it's much more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So Shigure talks about adulthood being way more troublesome than childhood, since students in school get summer breaks. Shigure gives Toru the advice of asking Yuki to copy his homework, and Toru's like, no, I could never do that because she's too pure-hearted.
Okay, I am back in it, and I've got my notes.
She wants to do it on her own merit. And then, for some reason, just out of nowhere, he casually kicks Kyo in the back of the head, because Kyo was just
He was teasing
mocking
Yuki and calling
because
him
of how
robotic
smart he
and lame.
was.
It was more
Yeah.
the fact that he was calling him robotic and lame.
Yeah.
Like,
And I like that bit where Toru and Yuki are gonna go like fight, and
it was Yuki and
not Toru,
Kyo, don't you
Yuki
mean?
and Kyo begin to fight, and Toru's like, "No, stop!" And she's holding the iron. She's like,
She almost
"Don't hurt
burns
anyone."
one of
She
them.
almost burns Yuki, and it's like, don't hurt each other. It's like you're the one that's gonna hurt us.
She's like, stop! And she's holding the iron.
Yeah, she almost burned him. That's what's hilarious. I think that's more hilarious than her actually burning him.
Yeah, that
So,
it's
oh,
the
what?
humor is always better if you know something bad could happen.
Yeah. So Shigure is excited to see what happens between Yuki, Kyo, and Toru throughout summer break.
Because a fair bit of this is going to be at the beach house that they end up going to.
And so Yuki already knows he's lame.
Yeah, like he agrees with Kyo, even though he doesn't want to show that he agrees with Kyo.
Yeah. Then-
Motoko confronts Makoto. Motoko confronts
Makoto.
That's hard to- Makoto, and wants the info on who Yuki will be leading next year in the student council to see if any girls will be with Yuki.
Oh yeah, and you can
Dun.
tell like from the glasses because
He's like, yeah, there's gonna be some girls.
Did you ever notice in like some anime when they wear when the characters wear glasses but you can't see the eyes? They're meant to be serious characters.
Yeah.
But then you see Makoto and he's like crying and it's like I wouldn't mind being held back a year just to support Yuki. And then Motoko, she's like saying I would help him jump ahead a year if it meant helping him. And then you see I forget what it was, but one of the students says like, God, they're obsessed with Yuki, aren't they?
Yeah. I do not get why they are so obsessed with Yuki. It's like,
I mean, if he was a celebrity going to a regular school, that'd make more sense.
yeah, sort of like in I think the anime Charlotte, there's a celebrity that goes to a school, but it's not that much of a plot point.
Alright, so Makoto considers what Makoto said to be a clue itself to there being a rogue female in the student council. Now,
I do not
She
get
doesn't
why they
know-
like that.
yeah, and Motoko, he knows if Makoto finds out who the female student is, she'll do everything in her power to get that female student away from Yuki because her
Yeah.
obsession,
Mhm.
she's like, it borderlines on stalker.
I'm pretty sure it was already stalked by the original.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it yandere, but it's definitely, she hasn't crossed that line yet, but
Yeah.
So Ishii and her friends run up to Yo to talk to her, almost knocking Motoko over. Yuo does tell them off for wandering around other people's schools because they don't even go to the school.
Yeah, they're like in like middle school, I think.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they literally just almost knock Motoko down. Like, it is just stupid.
Yeah, Ichi and her friend, next one. Motoko is wondering what is going on with everything that's happening around her and how Yuki is being exposed to it all.
It's like, she's like, gotta keep Yuki pure. Like,
Yeah.
Dude. like, miss, you don't know what's going on with Yuki. He might be the most impure thing in this world, in your world.
Yeah.
In fact, he most likely is, because he turns into a rat, which are known for being filthy.
How dare you? While Motoko is talking to her cronies, Hana scares them.
Yeah,
She's
they
like,
just
"Oh, hey,
they just
what's
go
going on?"
whoom.
Yeah, she snuck up without even saying. she was like she's like her stealth level is like 100.
Yeah.
That's how good she is.
No, she's just Batman.
Yeah, she's Batman. You don't sneak up on Batman.
Yeah. Although I'm pretty sure there was one comic where someone actually managed to sneak up on Batman.
Probably Catwoman.
Yeah, maybe Catwoman. So Yuki heads to the counselor's office for a meeting, and a girl in the room on the floor, surrounded by papers. She seems very jumpy when Yuki touches her. Because I thought, because the room is quite a mess. Something's happened in there.
Yeah, and
you don't find out in the episode what it was.
well, you don't find out immediately. You sort of do find out in the episode.
No, in later episodes you find out, but just not this one. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you get a piece of a clue to what it is.
Yeah. Okay, and Yuki also meets someone named Kakura Manabe. And
Manabe.
Machi. No, which one? It's Machi, isn't it? No, Manabe. Manabe was sleeping in a supply closet.
Yeah,
and Machi was the girl on the floor when Yuki entered the counselor's office.
Yeah, I referred to Kakuru as Manabe, and Machi as Machi.
Okay. So Manabe, he's sleeping, and then he discovers it's like, oh, it's Yuki, student body,
Yeah,
president.
and Machi was the one that made the mess.
Yeah, and he's got all that energy, and then he's just like, oh, I'm beat, I'm out of here. After he gives this big speech about, like, I'll be there for you whenever you need me to. So Yuki freaks out over, sorry, what?
Well, they're both on the student council, that's why they're in that room.
Yeah. The Yuki freaks out over Manabe's laziness being similar to Ayami's, and possibly Machi being on the council too.
Because,
yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Like
Makoto mistakes Yuki's frightened face for a face of speechless joy. And you see it's like the background changes, it's got like that dark shadow thing behind him. And it's like, oh, you're speechless. Your face is speechless with joy. I know we'll make a great team. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I wasn't saying anything. Gregor, you have something to add?
So, this gag is like used in a whole bunch of series, but it's always funny. Oh, you're speechless.
Because they're horrified.
Yeah. It's a good running gag.
Yeah. It's just like, hold up.
Okay, so Manabe has to hurry off to work, even though Makoto instructed him as student vice president, work has to come second.
He has like many jobs, we find out.
Yeah.
But
all of the jobs have to come second.
All the
student
work
VP is serious business.
Well, to Makoto, Makoto thinks that way, but not everyone's gonna think the same way as you, buddy. So yeah, Manabe explains to Yuki how he's been busy with work, and that he's into Super Sentai stuff. Sentai being Squadron.
That's kind of funny. You just change one letter, and you just change the S, and you do a H, and it changes from Squadron to Pawn.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens with a lot of words. If you say convict or convict, it means two different things.
Wait,
that one always confused me. Convict and convict. They're like they're spelled differently, but when someone pronounces them, they mostly mean one of the versions rather than the other.
Wait, what?
It's doesn't have an apostrophe to show ownership, but like when you put apostrophe s on the end of someone's name, it shows that they own it. So that one always confused me in school.
Hmm.
But anyways, Manabe calls
Sorry.
Black on the school defense force, seeing himself as a dark and mysterious type. Says if he was the one picking colors for the members, Yuki would be pink.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I want to be on the school defense force to save the school from aliens.
I love how that's what it's called, even though technically it's not that at all. That's just the name that they made up for it.
I think it's just a name that Manabe made up.
No, it was in the first season. Even back in the original, that was the name of it.
Okay, well.
But it's just something that they
Manabe
made up.
Misunderstood it.
It's something that they made up. It's like, why are people like this? Like,
well, Scientist is going to be black and green because that's the color of the logo and also his headphones. And I'll be
I think we're only supposed to have one color, by the way.
Okay, so just green then.
Yeah, just green for me.
No, I'll go pink.
No,
I can pull it off. I get a nice
you're brown.
clean shave, tidy myself up. Yeah, I can pull it off.
You're brown.
Aw.
You're the color of poo.
No. No, I'm the color of Halle Berry.
Manabe knows he's good at how do you pronounce that? Peeving?
Peeving,
Yeah,
yeah.
peeving, as
Peeving.
in pissing off.
Yeah, I just put as that in the notes. Because I
thought that was
I
spelled
wanted to
with 2
sort
E's.
of avoid
Yeah, isn't it?
that
Peebing.
Yeah.
Either way, Manabe knows he's good at peeving people off, and that he's also kind of an idiot too. At least he knows it.
Yeah, he knows he's stupid. He knows he's annoying, but he still does it anyway.
He embraces it.
Yeah.
So
Which is
Yuki
what I would be
ignores-
like.
It's better to know it than to not know it, because you can't necessarily change yourself, but if you're aware of it, at least you can do your best or be serious when you need to or apologize. But if you don't know that you're annoying or weird or what else? What did it say? Idiot? If you don't know you're an idiot, you can't do anything about it.
Well, ironically, that would make you an idiot if you didn't know you were an idiot.
I guess that's true too.
And would it be willful or unwillful ignorance?
I don't know. But yeah, speaking of ignorance, Yuki ignores what Matsuko is saying about Manabe and Machi, and thinks about what Machi was doing earlier when he arrived at the room in the first place.
Which was sleeping.
No, Machi. Not Manabe.
Oh, no. Sorry, yeah, Machi was cleaning up.
Well, Machi must have done something in the first place for it to be a mess.
So Motoko reflects on the first time she spoke to Yuki and how special it was to her.
Oh, yeah.
All those many years ago.
And she's like doing it in her room, and she's like really happy, and it's like she's like making all this noise. So her mum literally just charges into her room and it's like, "Go to sleep."
Because I thought she was in an apartment and it was like the landlady's the one that broke down the door.
No, it's her mum.
Yeah, when I first saw her, I thought it was like a landlady. It's like, keep it down.
And here's the thing:
She's making too much noise for the other tenants.
The shot that starts on the window and zooms out. There's a fruit and veg market underneath. That's where her mum works.
And her mum could hear her. The mum
time?
wasn't working.
Is that the first time we saw any fruits in the whole series?
What?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because every other time it's books of fruits or something like that. It's not the first time we saw actual fruits.
There wasn't any shots of actual fruits. It's just like it's a night shot focus on Matoko's window, and it zooms out from that, and you see there's a fruit market or like a fruit and veg shop underneath where her window is, and that's where her mum works.
Yeah, but the mum wasn't at work, right? She was.
No, it was the
house.
middle of the night. Why would she be working at the middle of the night?
They live
I
above
don't
their
know.
shop. Their apartment is the top floor of their shop.
Yeah.
Maybe the fruit store is open 24 hours a day.
No, it's not.
Because people love fruit. All right, so where were we?
So we move on to the next day at school, and Motoko is fed up with Makoto being so tight-lipped about who's on the council.
Yeah. So she gets the help from someone called Rika Ada. Not the Ada from Resident Evil. And Ada goes to lockpick the office door, but
it's unlocked and Yuki's inside the room.
It's like
they're both just like it's like Rika makes a beeline for the table, and Motoko just stands so still before walking in.
And so Ada's like the one that starts talking, and then Motoko is like, what should I say?
Something witty, something rememberable. And she comes out with, "What did you have for breakfast?"
And then Yuki tells him, and the two ladies are surprised that he eats natto. Natto, which is fermented soybeans, and he eats those for breakfast. She's also surprised. Motoko's also surprised that Yuki noticed she seems to talk very firmly, and he thinks it's cute. And this is when she completely loses it.
It's formally.
Formally.
Yeah.
So very formally, and he thinks it's cute. And so Motoko, she kind of just like loses her calm after that.
Yeah, and she notices that smiles come a lot easier to Yuki as of recently, and that makes her think of Toru, and she's like, starts yelling at like the vision that she's having of like the sight that she's like the picture in her head of Toru, yelling at her to back away from Yuki. And she said that part out loud.
Yeah.
Oops. Have either of you had these fermented, was it called again, natto?
Yeah, natto, which is fermented soybeans. No, I have not.
Me neither.
I've had miso, which is also fermented. I don't remember
I've had
what it
miso
is.
soup. That's the closest I would say I've had.
I think you only really use miso as like a super spice. I think it would be kind of weird to eat it straight. It comes in like a paste, and then you just put that in the water and boil it.
Mm.
But yeah, I haven't had natto either.
So yeah, Motoko hates herself the most for having such negative thoughts about other girls being near Yuki. A lot of these characters know their problems, yet do nothing about it. Like,
because if they did it, then we wouldn't. They wouldn't be as interesting characters for us.
I mean, yeah, but it's still just like the idea of like, we have problems, we're not gonna do anything about it, and that's the whole point of the show, in a way.
Yeah, that's literally the whole point of Seinfeld.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they learn nothing, no lessons. After what they do, they learn nothing. That's the joke of the series. All right, where are we?
So Yuki's gone and found Motoko, and
not the water fountain.
Yeah, she's had a water fountain.
Okay.
Or like, it looks like a water fountain at least.
And she's just like splashing her face with water. She's like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I said that around him."
Yeah, and she does try to compliment Yuki and say that it's nice that someone as cool as him is worried about her, and he straight up says he's not cool at all. He's not a cool person.
Yeah, and that makes him even more cool.
Yeah, which is I do not get why people think with that's like the normal logic of the world. It's like something's not cool. It's like you think
It's
something's
cool.
cool, but they say it's not cool, which makes it even more cool.
I guess it's just like the attitude of not giving a shit, you know?
Yeah. That would make sense, yeah.
I mean, if we're honest, what's popular is not always what's best. Like, a lot of things a
Fidget
lot of people
spinners.
think are cool, I just think are stupid.
You're like fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next line of the next note that I have is not a weird piece of logic as well, because Motoko is glad Toru is in Yuki's life, even if she hates that she's in his life.
Because Yuki's changed because of Toru in his life.
He's a better person now because Toru
It's like
was around.
saying, I'm glad Yuki's happy, I just wish it was me.
Yeah. And last point of episode 1 is that Hatsuharu goes to meet Rin in the hospital. At the same time, Moji practices the violin. And Akita is also sitting back to back with an unknown character that we don't really get to meet just yet.
Dun dun dun. Alright, and that brings us to the end of episode 1 and the start of episode 2.
Let's get into it.
Alright, you two go. I just gotta get some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. You want to take the first point?
Yeah, I got it. Alright, so Mayuko reminds the class about filling in their career plans and parent-teacher meetings happening after summer break. Ah, yes. Those were some interesting episodes. But we'll get to that later.
They were... they're not the worst episodes of the whole show.
No, they were. I thought they were really good. It was just a lot of drama.
Isn't this whole show built on drama, though?
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, Yuo gets a bit hangry because she woke up without the time to have breakfast. And she takes out Kyo.
I noticed something interesting. When it first shows Kyo, and he's looking out the window, you can see his cat ears. Then in the next few shots, the cat ears are completely removed, and then they pop up again.
No, that's just a detail thing that they add.
It's like when other series, like, they turn into Chibi for just a second, or like they have an emoji pop up on the screen.
Like with
They
Ruby.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have cat ears in his human form. They're just to show his emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that was weird when I saw it. I was like, didn't know if it was a mistake on their part or something.
No, it's just a character behavior showing. Because like you sort of see it happen with like Momoji as well in a later episode. He's in his human form, but you see rabbit ears.
And yeah, with Momiji, it happened a lot in the first series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then what subtle lesbian joke from?
No,
Hana?
you're missing a
Question
few.
mark?
You missed a few points.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at like I don't even remember that joke.
We talked
Sorry.
about it already.
Well, we did talk about
But
Kyo
maybe-
being annoyed with having to hang out with everyone else in this social group, like the small social group that's being built at the school. It's like there's Yuki, there's Toru himself, Yuo, and Hana. It's like it's a small group, but it's still fun just to see what happens between them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that joke you're bringing up, it doesn't make sense without context. So, Toru's career plan is to start work right away and be able to support herself after school. Yuo brings up that Toru could just get married as a way of supporting herself.
Yeah, and that's what leads into the subtle lesbian joke from Hannah and saying, in that case, perhaps I should go to college. That would be better able to support us. In other words, Hannah marries Yuo, or I think it was.
Or Toru.
Oh, so let's make it happen. Nah.
The funny
No,
thing
then
is,
she
like,
goes-
nobody else acknowledges it. They just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've got
they do
used to that
until-
sort of joke coming from Hannah, I guess.
Yeah, but then Yuo suggests like she's joking. I think to me it sounded like she was joking. She's like, oh, Toru should eat no, I'm getting tongue tied. Toru
Yeah,
should
Toru.
marry either Yuki or Kyo, and then they both just like, ugh.
And,
So embarrassed.
and Kyo gets a good old whack on the head for saying he pees the poor guy that marries Yuo. It would be funny if it ended up being Kyo and Yuo getting married.
So then Yuo has
In the-
found someone she's interested in that she met while working, and she says that this person is like Toru. So
Yeah.
then we can see that Yuo has a type.
Oh no! Oh no! I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I thought that Yuo and Kyo were going to be a ship in the first series, but not as much in the second series.
Not much in the second season.
Oh no, the second series, like the old series, they had, like, I thought they were going to do it, but then in this series, it's kind of more obvious that
Yeah.
they're just kind of like rivals or teasing friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know who Kyo ends up with.
Well, yeah, I finished the series too, but I mean, just like when I was watching this point,
I only got up to episode 17.
And then you lost all the notes that you had to do.
Yeah, no, they're around here somewhere. Because I was drawing and writing before, but I don't know where they are. I might have put them in one of my books. I got a bunch of like sticky notes and pads of paper, just with bits of information for the lore and that. But anyways, getting back on topic, where were we?
So Yuki and Kyo start.
Yuki and Kyo.
they
Sorry,
s-
you want to go?
You can go on this one.
Alright. Yuki and Kyo start thinking about their futures beyond high school, with Kyo's last line of thought being after next year.
So something's gonna happen after the end of next year. Most likely after graduation. And then after that, it just moves on to the next scene, where Kazuma invites Toru and Kyo over for lunch and conversation. And Toru is excited to be meeting with Kazuma again and learn more about him. She just loves to learn about everyone that's in the family, I guess. They're just like
Some might
people
call
in
that
general.
being a bit too nosy.
Well, I'm pretty sure Akira would say she's being too nosy. So when they arrive, Kazuma's burnt the fish and whatever else was in the pot.
No, I think it was just fish. He was like the book. He was like, "Oh, I was so entranced by this book I was reading,
yeah, it was a book called In the Midnight that Shigeru's reading.
Moonlight."
Oh, In the Moonlight.
one of those books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I think it's a normal literature one. Literature.
Oh,
I'm saying that
knowing
right,
him
right?
And,
But
no,
yeah,
yeah.
It's
But
written by
knowing
Shigeru.
him, I don't think it was just normal literature.
I don't think it's like the Summer Sai series though.
Yeah, he was reading Boku no Pico.
Oh, I cannot wait to actually watch that one for the podcast.
I can. God.
Kazuma cut his own hair since last time Toru saw Kazuma, but
Those poor luscious locks.
he says that it was like a symbol of something silly or something like that. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but he never said what. Like it was a superstition, I think he called it, about
Yeah.
not cutting his hair, but he never
a
says
silly
why.
superstition.
I think they just need to give him they wanted him to have a new haircut and they tried to give him a reason for it. That's all it was.
Maybe it's just easier to animate short hair.
That too. Although, if that was the case, they would have had, what's his name? Cut his hair.
Yeah,
Ayame?
well, I guess it really depends on because sometimes like in anime games, animated films, the simplest stuff often is the most complicated.
Yeah, because short hair would actually be harder because you got to do the details.
Yeah, like freaking in Batman Arkham City, Batman's cape had like over 100 animations that had to be edited and tested.
Oh, jeez, that would.
Yeah, and it was not just for gliding; it was for when he was crouching, running, walking, using it as an attack. It was a
Jeez.
lot of stuff. Alright, Toru offers to make lunch for everyone while Kazuma and Kyo catch up with each other in their usual way.
Like what we saw in season 1 with the whole like going to punch the other person thing. And like Tori manages to find some frozen curry, and that's all. And because Kazuma has nothing in his fridge, because he like
Sometimes when you live alone, it's like that.
he just literally all there was some frozen curry and mustard.
Well,
Yeah.
you might be able to put the mustard in the curry. Probably not.
Just a bold choice there. Let's see if it pays off.
Toru embarrasses Kyo by telling Kazuma that Kyo is a great cook and the time he made rice porridge for her.
That's a reference back to season 1 when she was sick. Just in case you're tuning into this, like this is your first episode of Fruits Basket.
Yeah, and he's like so traumatized, just the shock on his face. It reminded me of when in Dragon Ball Super when Beerus slaps Bulma and you see Vegeta's face, just like. I was like thinking, oh, Tora had the same expression.
But yeah, the noise in the kitchen also attracts Kazuma's dojo assistant, Kunimisu. And then like there's a noise at the door, and he goes to answer the door, and it turns out there was Kyo's father showing up.
But Kazuma doesn't tell
And Kazuma doesn't tell.
Kyo. He's like, oh, I just got to head out.
And he's like,
don't bother me. I won't bother you, I mean.
But Kyo's like, why are you leaving? We're almost ready with the food. Like, we're in the middle of making food. We'll probably be done in like 15 minutes.
And it's like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to go across the street, get a Big Mac.
So yeah,
I done that when I was younger. It's like mom's making dinner. It's like, oh no, I'm just gonna go over to.
So yeah, I think like Tora's like just peeking her head out the kitchen, and like just listening in with what's going
Tora,
on.
no, she's an inquisitive one. That one.
Yeah, she's just listening in on what's going on between Kyo and Kazuma. And
When suddenly,
she gets scared by Kunimisu Mitsu standing behind her. And he says that he has dirt with Kyo. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to learn about more of Kyo's past from him. If we ever do.
Toru does note the two spots on the wood do look like creepy eyes and jokingly asks, oh, sorry, you're not still afraid of it, are you?
So,
Because that dirt was Kyo spilt something on the wood and he was crying. He was real upset about
Did he
it.
spill something on it? I thought it was some...
no, he didn't. He didn't spill the stuff on the wood. He thought they looked like eyes, and they scared him.
No, because wasn't the wood stained from when he spilt it, and that's what made the creepy eyes?
No. They
I
would
swear that was it.
They would have already been there.
Oh, okay then. Because I do remember, I did like the bit where you got the young Kyo, and he's hiding behind the tree. It's like, let's play, let's play, let's play, let's play.
Oh yeah, like he's not actually saying anything, but his actions are saying "Let's play."
Yeah, it's like when you have those characters and they're looking like from a hiding place, and it's like stare.
Yeah.
Alright, so where were we? Kyo wonders if he'll grow out of the fear like he did with the creepy eyes would, and then he hits Toro on the head.
Yeah. He's like, "We're gonna finish this lunch."
And so while they're making the lunch, Kazuma goes to meet with Kyo's father, and calmly sits and listens to him lose it over Kyo not being confined because Kyo supposedly killed his wife. And he's like, once he graduates high school, he needs to be locked in a pitch black room.
We do actually get to see what happens to Kyo's mum later on.
And Kazuma says he won't do that. And he goes, "You may hate Kyo, but you two are so similar. But
Yeah.
unlike you, Kyo is doing his best to change, while you're still the same stubborn fool that you are." And he goes to Kazuma. He's like, I didn't take Kyo from you just for the money. I did it just to help a kid out who's suffering from the curse of the Zodiac." And he mentions that he's been more of a father to Kyo than Kyo's actual father.
Yeah, and he's actually enjoyed raising him.
And Kazuma declares he will protect Kyo from confinement, even if he has to go up against Akito himself, which is a bold claim, because we all know who and what Akito is / has done.
Well, we find out officially later on, like when Toru actually figures it out.
Yeah, but like, from the very original first season, we've seen what he's done.
Yeah.
So then and he's also done that in this new series.
Yeah, well, the Zodiac don't necessarily get cool special powers other than transforming. So, like,
I mean,
maybe...
Akito does have powers as well.
Maybe Kazuma could actually win that fight.
Well, Akito does have powers. We don't find out until like episode 7 or 8 of this season. So we find out that Toru can swim. Like, she says that she can swim. She just doesn't take any breaths while swimming, which is dangerous.
Well, it's not like you can breathe underwater.
No, she doesn't like slow down and like puts her mouth above the water and how you're normally supposed to swim.
I've forgotten how to swim. I haven't been to a pool in so long, and the irony is where I'm staying, there's a pool.
You need to learn how to swim again, Bailey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get those little arm floaties.
Yeah, it's like, what if you get dropped in the middle of the ocean?
I don't know. Yeah, if I'm in the middle of the ocean, I'm just gonna lay on my back, arms and legs spread, starfish.
Oh yeah, and then the shark comes along and takes a limb.
Oh no. Well, as long as I'm not bleeding, I have a pretty high chance of survival.
No, you're bleeding out.
Okay.
You'll be bleeding out pretty bad.
Even if you
sharks.
are bleeding, the whole thing about sharks smelling blood, that's only fish blood. Like, they can smell the human blood, but they don't know what it is, so they don't care.
Oh, thank God. So Kazuma returns home and asks Kyo if the curry is ready.
And they're like, it's been ready for like hours.
Oh yeah, and I just love that, and he snuck in when Toru and Kyo are having a moment.
He just ruins it.
Yeah, and Kyo's like, oh, he freaks out because he gets scared. He's startled, and it's like, oh, why are you sitting in the corner over there? Come, join us.
Uh,
Momoji, sorry, what?
So yeah, Momoji had to come up with a career plan, but he already had one in mind. He's just not sure if he'll be able to do it. And Tori tries to ask why, but Yuki shows up, preventing her from asking him.
And Toru talks to Yuki about what Momoji told her, and Yuki answers with the fact that there's a lot of somas / zodiac they are struggling with. So it's not just the family, there's like a whole bunch of these people.
Yeah, it's like
And
the Zodiac are not really fans of each other.
Yeah. Can there be like for example like the cat zodiac, can there be more than one cat zodiac at a time?
No.
Yeah. So the whole thing about a person becoming a zodiac is completely random.
Yeah.
But
Not only can there not be more than one at a time, but they aren't necessarily born right away when the other one dies. Like, in a later episode, they say that this is the first time in a while that, like, they've had a full set. Like, most of the time they go whole lifetimes without the next one being born.
Yeah. With what we find out later, that's not entirely true. So, Kyo decides to make some somen to eat, but doesn't know how to make the dipping sauce. And Kyo says they would have used soy sauce if Tori hadn't offered to help. I've never had somen before.
But judging by her reaction, that must be pretty weird. Because everybody's like, you just would eat it with soy sauce? That's not how you usually eat it. So I guess that it must be like
a certain thing that you need to... a preferred way of eating something. We find out that Kyo's worried about being confined until he dies by Aikido. Like, they sort of hinted at that with the grandfather being in the being confined in the first season, like Kazuma's grandfather. Kyo mentions that he doesn't know what life he'll even be allowed to have because he's possessed by the cat spirit. And then shifts the conversation to Toru's career plan and how that the plan she decided, the plan that she has is the one that she decided when Kyoko was alive. And it's like, yeah, she needs to be her own person a little bit. Doesn't she?
I just looked up somen, and it's actually served on ice.
on ice.
On ice.
How's that work?
Like, they drain the noodles and then put it on top of ice cubes.
No, that actually doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, and what you can do is like you get ice cubes and you get an ice tray and you just pour some sake, freeze it, suck the ice cubes, and then put the soma on top.
Oh, that sounds so good.
And the dipping sauce is actually soy based. But it's like spicy.
Oh, we freeze that too.
You just mix soy and sake together.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing to see.
Would you try that? Any of you would try that?
I would.
Yeah, I'd try it.
Sake noodles?
Yeah.
Is that what
you're
asking?
So you get the soma, and then you have frozen ice cubes of sake.
I'd try anything like that once. I don't know if I'd eat it a second time.
Yeah. I'm a tryaholic. I'll try anything once.
Anyway, let's get back to these notes. So yeah, Toru realizes that her career plan is not that simple, and she starts crying. Knowing how fast things will change for her, and it makes her anxious of thinking about that possibility. or that reality, in fact.
Yeah, and then Shigame, I love what he does. Sorry,
You skipped a point.
oh no, it's the one above, sorry.
Yeah.
So Toru tells Kyo to stop making her look closer because she needs to act like everything is okay or she'll cry to no end. And at this point, Shigure comes in and he's ruined the moment again.
Yeah.
So he goes to Toru.
All the adults always ruin the moment.
Yeah. And he gives her some advice, and it like the advice is, I gotta say, it's like the smartest thing he's ever said up to this point.
Yeah. And he uses laundry as an explanation of it.
It's also the smartest thing he says for the rest of the series, too.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Well, I haven't seen season 3 or past episode 17, so I have to take your word for it.
Oh yeah, definitely take our word for it.
I think I'm going to read the full laundry quote, if that's okay.
If you want to. I didn't write it down.
You know, when you get anxiety about the future, it's best not to think about it. For example, let's say that you are surrounded with a mountain of laundry piled so high around your feet that you can't move. Now let's assume you don't have a washing machine, so you have to wash everything individually by hand. You would be at a loss for what to do, right? You'd worry if you could ever wash everything. But if you could get it all clean, if you could ever have time for anything but laundry ever again. The more you think about it, the more anxious you get. But the time keeps passing and the laundry doesn't wash itself. So what do? It might be a good idea to start washing the laundry right at your feet. Of course, it's important to think about what lies ahead too, but if you only look at what's down the road, you'll get tangled in the laundry at your feet and you'll fall, won't you? You see, it's also important to think about what you can do now, what you can do today. And if you keep washing things one at a time, you'll be done before you know it, because fortune is looking out for you. Sometimes the anxiety will start to well up, but when it does, take a little break. Read a book, watch TV, or eat somen with everybody.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like just with that alone, it's like, we've only done 2 episodes, but I feel like just with that, we should end the episode.
And then
we find out
and then Shigure ruins it. You just said that whole quote just so you could get some somen, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, Shigure goes to Kyo, oh, if you keep eating that pink salmon, it's gonna put you in the mood.
No, he just says that pink salmon will put you in the mood.
Yeah, in the mood.
Yeah.
Put him in the gay mood. Nah, I'm joking.
What time did we even start this?
Like at 2:20, I think.
Should we just end this episode here, just at 2 episodes?
If you guys want.
Because we're going to be recording Ruby after this.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to end it, well, I want to hear Krokia say that memorable speech again, and then we just cut the black.
Okay.
If you want, I'll read it again, okay.
Let me just do outro stuff first. Links will be in the description to both of my channels and both of Bailey's channels, along with anything else that I see fit. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, 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 a ding.
Dong.
I'm the Mad Scientist.
I had to hit myself in the head for the
Mad
dong.
Scientist out.
See you
Mad
then,
Go for it, Croak here. Take us out.
Okay, I'll use my podcast voice.
Yeah.
You know, when you get anxiety about the future, it's better not to think about it. For example, let's say that you are surrounded with a mountain of laundry, piled so high around your feet that you can't move. Now let's assume you don't have a washing machine, so you have to wash everything individually by hand. You would be a loss for what to do, right? You'd worry about if you could ever wash everything, if you could get it all clean, if you'd ever have the time for anything but laundry ever again. The more you'd think about it, the more anxious you'd get. But the time keeps passing and the laundry doesn't wash itself. So what do? It might be a good idea to start washing the laundry right at your feet. Of course, it's important to think about what lies ahead, too. But if you only look at what's down the road, you'll get tangled in the laundry at your feet and you'll fall, won't you? You see, it's also important to think about what you can do now, what you can do today. And if you keep washing things one at a time, you'll be done before you know it, because fortune is looking out for you.
Sometimes the anxiety will just start to well up, but when it does, take a little break. Read a book, watch TV, or eat somen with everyone.